Never buy these types of houses. Hi there. Today I'm going to be sharing with you 6 potential red flags in a home that you should never buy. These red flags will save you thousands and thousands of dollars. If you're ready, let's get started. Number 1 house you should never buy is homes that are built over 100 years old. See, I get it. You might say, Jeff, I love the history behind this home. It looks beautiful. I'm going to have fond memories in this home. The reality on the ground is homes that are built over 100 years old are prone to have plumbing issues. As you know, plumbing issues is very hard to replace. They will cost you money. They will cost you thousands of dollars. They will cause you stress, headache, heartache, and pain. You want to avoid all of this. And one of the other issues where plumbing issues comes into play is that they lead to potential flooding. And so if you have plumbing issues, it can impact the flooding in the home, and that can result to a lot of damage you didn't even plan for. Number 2 issues within why you should not buy a home over 100 years old is the electrical issues. You see, homes that are built over 100 years old utilize what they call knob and tube wiring. The reality on the ground is if prior to 1960 they have been renovated, those renovations usually have a lifespan of about 70 years. So you're still going to face issues with replacing those wiring and electrical issues. Again, those will cost you money, those will cost you heartache, those will cost you stress, and you want to avoid that. One of the 10 reasons why homes built over 100 years old should be avoided is the issue with asbestos. Asbestos is a health hazard. So on the flooring side, the ceiling side, you want to avoid this heartache, you want to avoid this headache. So it's best upfront to avoid any potential homes built over 100 years old. Don't forget also, these homes also have what they call lead-based paint. Lead-based paint is a red flag, a no-no to pregnant women and young children. You want to avoid this. As a matter of fact, homes built prior to 1978 are prone to have lead-based paint issues. And that is, my friend, a potential red flag to avoid. Now, the second type of homes you should never buy are homes that are found in a flood zone. Now, even if this home have never flooded before, or there's no visible sign of any flood, or the seller tells you that, listen, for the past 20-25 years, we've not experienced any flood, even if we are classified as being in the flood zone, run. Never ever buy a home in a flood zone. Why? Number 1 reason is insurance. You see, in states like New Jersey, the insurance goes anywhere from $1,700 a year to over $5,000 a year. You want to avoid those costs. Again, the visible signs that tells you that these homes might be in the flood zone are like mold, mildew. So you want to avoid foundation issues because this can impact the properties, not just the value, but it's going to cost you tens and tens of thousands of dollars just to replace these issues. Again, foundation issues classified or qualified into what we refer to as the BTI, the big ticket items. You don't want to buy a property and spend thousands of dollars of your hard-earned money just trying to replace those damages. The third type of homes you should never buy, I repeat, never buy, are homes with structural issues. You see, the structure is the heartbeat. The structure of a building is the foundation itself. It's what drives or gives you confidence about the property's ability to withstand any form of potential natural issues or hazards. Now, if you buy a home that is strife with structural damage, you just bought yourself a landmine. So avoid all of this, and it's characterized by uneven flooring, foundation issues. You can tell from the structure of this building that this home is having a major structural damage. And of course, the structural damage or the structural issues classify into the BTI, the big ticket items you want to run. Don't just walk away from them, run far away from them. And even if the seller tells you otherwise, even if the seller tells you otherwise, I repeat, you want to take note of the fact that there must be a seller disclosure document. If you stay tuned to the end of this video, I'm going to share with you a potential tip that we use to find out all the history behind the property, even if the seller is lying. Stay tuned to the end of this video. Now, the fourth type of home you should never buy, you should run away from, are homes that have a history of termites. You see, the history of termites in the home leads to an impact of wood damage. Sometimes you can see visible signs from the termite tunnels itself. Why do you want to avoid this? Because this will cost you a lot of money to fix those issues. And again, you want to avoid any history, any potential history of issues that can impact your finances. You don't want to go into a property and buy that property only to end up spending thousands of dollars just to fix those issues in the property itself. Your goal is to know and identify these red flags and run away from these red flags. Now, the fifth type of home you should never buy is very dear to me. That is homes with what they call modifications or do-it-yourself renovations. You see, I've run into this a lot over the past 10 years in the real estate industry. I've run into a lot of single family units being converted without the right permit into multi-family units. Friends, run away from those modifications. Why? Because those will cost you a lot of money. You want to avoid that headache. You don't need that heat. So please, always make sure to avoid homes that has built-in modifications. You can find this from the seller disclosure document. You want to see the history of the property itself. Was it first listed as a single family unit or an SFU? Only later down the line to be converted into an MFU, a multi-family unit. You want to identify this and run away from all of these potential modifications. Why? Because they fail to meet the zoning requirements or even the permits. And that is one of the reasons why we said, if you wait to the end of this video, I'm going to share with you a tip we use. Even if the seller or the owner refuses to disclose this information to you, you will still find out if there is a modification done on that property itself, and you should avoid that. The sixth and the final home to avoid are homes with underground oil tanks. The first red flag that comes to your mind is when you hear the word underground oil tanks is soil damage. Even if the tank has been decommissioned. By decommissioning means they've dug up the ground, they remove the oil and replace it with sand. It's still a no-no. Even if the seller tells you, gives you guarantee that, listen, there's no soil damage based on the inspection report. How do you know it's true? You never know. So please run away from any homes that have underground oil tanks in them. You want to run away and avoid the potential headache. Why? It's going to cost you anywhere from $250,000 to $300,000 just to fix an issue that has to impact the soil itself on the home. Of course, you want to avoid that as an investor. Now, this is my bonus tip. Always request the seller to provide you the seller disclosure document. The issue with that is simple. There are 4 choices that the seller or the owner of the property can decide to choose. They can answer yes. So the seller disclosure document gives you an overview of the condition of the property. That is what they decide to tell you, or what they decide to reveal as part of the condition of the property. So they can decide to choose 4 answers or 4 responses. One, they can say yes, they can say no, they can select NR, which means no representation. That's where I'm going to. The no representation means that if the seller has 2 choices, they might either be aware of the condition that impacts the property and decide to say they are not aware of it and say NR or select NR, meaning no representation. Or the final response can be NA, which is not applicable. Now, it's your job as the buyer to identify and find out, I'll go beyond and above all of these issues. And what do we do? For us here, we utilize InvestFusion. Why do we utilize InvestFusion? Because InvestFusion is the first AI-powered platform that combines or collapses both the multi-family units and the commercial in one umbrella. And it identifies all of these potential red flags. It identifies the history of the building itself. What are the changes? Are there any zoning violations or easements or any potential red flags that have to be identified in this property? If there's a history of this property online, InvestFusion, our AI power platform, will reveal that to you, the buyer, so you can avoid all these potential red flags, saving you thousands and thousands of dollars. It saves you time, it saves you headache, it saves you stress, and it gives you peace of mind. How about that? Thanks for watching. If you're new to our channel, make sure to like this video and of course, subscribe to our channel for more content like this. Thanks for watching. Until next time, stay blessed and bye for now.